Welcome to I Drink Your Podcast, where we drink and talk about movies from 2007.
Imagine my little girl, Regular.
Guys, did you see me dance?
No, you waste energy and time.
I turned penis into gold.
Are you okay?
I want to see you naked.
Surprise, dude. You got herpes.
If I did you a ventriloquist.
You're really well dressed for a shadow puppeteer.
What is he going to culturally appropriate this time?
My man.
I drink your podcast. I drink it up.
Welcome to the I Drink Your Podcast Christmas special. I am Ben, and I'll be your host for this evening's festivities. With me tonight is Matt.
Whoop, whoop. What's up?
We've also got Wesley with us.
Whoop, whoop.
Way to cue them into which voice is yours. And Emily.
Woo, woo.
All right.
Wow.
Quick shout out to PJ from Real Gaming for giving us this as his victory tour. So, PJ, this one is dedicated to you. Thank you so much for coming on our show and giving us additional programming. We greatly appreciate it.
Extra homework.
Another quick shout out to When Cinephiles Attack, because we kind of stole the way you guys did your best movies of the last decade format. Borrowed and tweaked. Yeah, it's a little different.
Borrowed with love and respect.
Absolutely, because it was such a great idea and so well constructed that we just had to take it over.
You'll be hearing from my lawyers.
So the way this is going to work is we are going to together come up with a top 12 Christmas movie list. And this is the I Drink Your Podcast top Christmas movies. So the way this is going to work is we're all going to just throw out some ideas for movies. We've got a very stringent format that we're going to do that, which you'll soon find out. But before we do that, let's jump into what we're all drinking. And we each have a themed drink after a movie that we absolutely feel must be on the list. There is no debating this. These movies that we talk about next are for sure in our top 12. And I'm going to start. I've got this drink here in front of me, and you guys may have known or may not know is that I hate hot drinks. And I've had some pretty shitty drinks on this podcast before in the name of being on brand, and I'm going that route again today. So my drink is rum, Grand Marnier, hot water, and a tablespoon of rich chocolatey Ovaltine.
Oh my God. I think I know what movie you're talking about.
My drink is called Be Sure to Drink Your Ovaltine, because my locked-in movie is A Christmas Story. Now, this movie is Christmas for me. I watch this on every Christmas day when I'm hanging out at my mom's unwrapping presents. It's always on in the background. It is a total banger from start to finish. It's got so many quotable lines. All the characters are fun and interesting. I love the way that the narration works so well to kind of cue us into this 1950s story, but with a modern spin using the narrator. And I just love this movie, and I couldn't imagine it not making our list.
I've never seen it.
That's totally fine.
No, it's not.
No, it really is,
Thank you,
Wesley.
Emily.
It's totally fine. This one's near and dear to my heart. Yes, I think it definitely needs to be on the list. And it already is, because Ben put it on his. You can't get rid of it. Ha ha ha. But my family has a tradition on Christmas Eve where we go and get Chinese food. And we eat Chinese food on Christmas Eve, and we watch A Christmas Story. And that's been a tradition of ours since I was in like 3rd or 4th grade. I don't know why we started doing it. There was a swim family that we were really close to, and they owned a Chinese restaurant. And we didn't realize that this is like a Jewish tradition. You know, my family is Christian, but that was like a Jewish tradition. Everyone eats Chinese food on Christmas Eve. But yeah, so I appreciate the adding A Christmas Story to this list.
And Wes has no idea what you're talking about because he's never seen. I've only seen him like 2 times now. Like I just saw it in maybe like late 20s. So I'm kind of Team Wesley, but it's a good movie. You should check it out.
I mean, it's one of those that is so popular that I feel like if I watched it, I would at least understand most of it or expect it. Like there's so much in the the cultural zeitgeist in TV shows.
She looked at me like I had lobsters crawling out of my ears.
I'm assuming that's a quote.
It is.
How bold. Just to say that where it wasn't a quote.
Quick check-in before Matt goes. It's absolutely terrible. And I'm going to drink all of it. For some reason, the hot water didn't mix the Ovaltine very well, so there's like clumps of Ovaltine in the drink. It's like little surprises.
I kind of like that. What is Grand Marnier?
It's an orange liqueur.
Okay.
Why are there so many orange flavored liquors? Triple Sec, the other one.
This is like the Cadillac of orange liqueurs, though. Like this is the one.
Back to Christmas.
Yeah, you almost...
If drinking isn't Christmas, then I grew up in the wrong family.
Oh yeah, that's true. Drinking is very Christmassy.
We can debate that on another podcast.
Okay, Matt, what do you got in your glass today?
I have what I'm calling a sugar rush. Okay, so
I'm assuming your movie is Rush.
I was gonna guess Wreck-It Ralph.
Yeah, well, that's a good one.
Well,
this is fun. Let's make guesses on our movie based on the drink.
So, okay, it's a sugar rush because the main character in my movie loves sugar, and he is just this man he's so adorable, he's so
Willy
endearing.
Wonka?
I've got it.
And it's a father-son tale. And okay, so I have Coke. I put extra sugar in here. I put grenadine, and then I also put maple syrup and rum.
Oh,
love it.
Yes.
That is so perfect.
It is a sugar rush, and the maple syrup is especially just to top it off because he is an elf. He is Buddy the Elf. My movie is Elf, and I chose it because I could watch that movie 1,000 times. It's like more than timeless. There's something so magical about Elf. And like it was before Will Ferrell really got big, it was like right on the heels.
He's always been pretty tall.
Well, they used a lot of forced perspective in this movie too. Like there's actually a Netflix special that just came out about it, and I got to watch it for this. And they sent in a B crew to shoot all these forced perspective shots and set them up like the night before, because this movie only cost $30 million to make, so they had to really bust their asses like the entire movie. And there were 63 forced perspective shots. And this is Jon Favreau's, I guess you could say it's like first, big production.
That was Jon Favreau?
Yeah. And he would go on to do a whole bunch of really cool shit. So this movie is just really awesome. The story is great. And it'll make you cry if you watch. And then James Caan.
Absolutely not.
So great. You didn't like it?
No, I like it. I do. I just, I don't want to watch it every year. It's not going to make me cry.
It's the first movie when I put up my Christmas decorations on November 1st every year. That's the movie that I watch while I'm putting up Christmas decorations.
Oh, that's cute.
November 1st?
Yeah, the second Halloween decorations come down, Christmas decorations go up, and then they're up till the Super Bowl. Because if I'm going to decorate hardcore, it needs to be up for a while to justify my work.
Wow.
I can confirm that Ben's household does keep Christmas decorations up way too late.
Emily, what do you got?
I have, and mine's going to be so easy to guess. It's a Jack Skellington. That is my drink.
Yeah.
So for me, this drink is the worst thing I think I've ever put in my mouth. So I looked it up. It's supposed to be in a martini glass, and I don't have martini glasses because we live in an apartment and are poor as shit.
Yeah, that's right.
That's the problem. It tastes shitty, but it would look nicer, I think. But I'm supposed to put like marshmallow fluff on the sides to make it look like it has bones, I guess. And then you're supposed to have peppermint candies hanging out, candy canes as garnish. And then inside is dark rum, cream de cacao, and some sort of food coloring to make it black. And so I didn't have black food coloring like they suggested. So I used a lot of colors, a plethora, if you will, to get Jack Skellington. And it tastes like garbage.
I feel like the dark rum plus cream de cacao It was already dark enough.
Oh, it was a really nice dark rum too, because we only had a little bit left of it. And I was like, sure, I might as well finish it off. Oh, it just ruined everything. And I'm so sad.
Yeah. As someone who has an allergy to food coloring, fuck it. Eat and drink your food wherever it came from in the color spectrum.
But anyway, Night Before Christmas, I watch it so many times. Halloween, Christmas, anytime. I know the Geeky Waffle is a podcast I absolutely love listening to, and they did an episode about like, is Nightmare Before Christmas a Christmas or a Halloween movie? And if I had to choose, if I really had to choose, I would probably put it on for Christmas because I like a little bit darker Christmas movies. I don't like the happy, silly crap, even though there is lots of happy, silly crap that happens in this movie, but it gives me all sorts of wonderful feelings. And I love animation. And so this to me speaks so much about Christmas.
I actually really love it as a Halloween movie for the exact opposite reason. It brings some levity to what is a spooky time. And I just love it. But yeah, not going to disagree though.
Yeah, I don't think being a Halloween movie though negates it being a Christmas movie. Like, I don't see why it can't be both. It can capitalize on both the themes and the imageries of both holidays.
I think just like the Kinsey spectrum, you fall on one side though. That doesn't mean it's not one or the other.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, I like I said, if I had to choose between watching this during only Halloween or only during Christmas, I'd probably choose Christmas.
I mean, you had a 50-50 choice and I mean, you chose wrong.
Well,
but
it
whatever.
could be a Thanksgiving or Easter one because there are all sorts of doors in there going to all the holidays.
Yeah, but those are like 2 seconds.
Exactly.
Wesley, what do you got?
My drink is essentially a Christmas tree in a glass.
Gin.
It's basic. It gets the job done. It's not trying to fool anybody. It might be trying to fool some people, but it's really just, it likes anal sex.
Are you talking about your movie or your drink?
Both. I'm doing a great job
Matt
here.
and I cocked our heads just like, what is
Ben
happening?
gets it because he knows, right, Ben?
I'm
I do know, yeah.
Maybe it's 4 Christmases.
Are you fucking with me, kid?
Are you fucking with me?
I know what it is.
My drink is just the gin and tonic because that's Christmas tree in a glass to me. But yes, Matt already got it and Ben already knows. But my movie is Bad Santa. It is very underrated as far as I'm concerned. It came out at a very formative time in my life. But it's just one of those movies that it was just like raunchy for raunchy's sake and like aggressively puts a protagonist as a bad person. And it was kind of rare, at least at that time, to see that kind of thing, at least from what I had seen. And there are also just so many heartwarming parts of this movie. And the two that I want to highlight are the very ending, which, spoilers, if you haven't seen it, skip ahead 10 seconds. But Bad Santa, who's played by Billy Bob Thornton, who is a mall Santa who only portrays a mall Santa to get access to malls and steal things. So he's just a bad person. He's an alcoholic. He has anal sex.
Anal sex doesn't make you a bad guy.
No.
Just because you're a bad guy does not make you a bad guy.
See, Wreck-It Ralph. It's a Christmas movie.
So the end of Bad Santa, he ends up trying to kind of like con this little kid who takes him in and ends up falling in love with this kid who is bullied and just has a rough life. And at the very end of the movie, the kid only asked for one thing, and it was a purple stuffed elephant. And at the end of the movie, he gets caught and the police are running him down. He ends up going back to the kid's house and getting shot in the back as he's trying to run in to give the kid his stuffed elephant, and ends up giving him a blood-covered stuffed elephant. And it is, for that movie, incredibly sweet. The other scene I want to call out is my favorite. It's not as sweet, but it is the scene where the same kid is trying to make a handmade present for Billy Bob Thornton because he thinks he's the nicest guy ever and dressed up as Santa and all that. But he's home making a wooden pickle. And yep, nope, there's no more. You don't need any more than that. He's hand making a wooden pickle, and the scene just abruptly starts with the kid screaming his lungs out because while he is whittling a wooden pickle, slices his hand open to like horribly. And the whole scene is just him like screaming and crying. And he ends up giving Billy Bob Thornton a bloodied wood pickle as a gesture. And it's, again, just in the terms of this movie, the sweetest thing. So my movie's Bad Santa.
Yes.
I am very concerned that I'm not going to know most of these movies that all of you have picked, because of the 4, those are 3 that I know. And that's about like it when it comes to Christmas movies. And then there's the 3 that I know. That's like it. I don't know a lot of Christmas movies.
You might be surprised. You'll probably have heard of them, but maybe not have seen them.
Got it. Oh, one thing I really want to mention, because Wesley, you went into all this love about Bad Santa. Another reason I love The Night Before Christmas is my mom was a music teacher for a long time. And so I still remember we would get together and my mom would play piano of What's This? And we would all sing it together as a family. And so I have like really great memories of that and singing along with the movie.
Yeah.
I love humming that theme. What's This? Is like,
What's this? What's this
is
iconic.
So good. At this point, we're going to get into, each of us came prepared with 3 Christmas movies that we're ready to talk about that we're going to toss into the ring to see which ones make our lists. So Wesley, one of his favorite things to do is roll die. So Wesley, roll that die.
Emily.
So Emily, you're going to go first. Please share with us the first movie on your list.
Okay, my first movie is The Muppet Christmas Carol. I love this goddamn movie, and I think it is the best of all the Christmas Carol movies out there. I haven't seen probably all of them in the world, but based off of kind of what I was reading online, this one is phenomenal. As you could tell, I love musicals, and this with Michael Caine singing and being Scrooge is just so silly, and the whole time it's being narrated by Gonzo and Rizzo the Rat, and it's just so fun to me, where there's all of these little Christmas pieces going on, but also constant jokes and silly things happening, and a lot of the music is so iconic and memorable for me, even though it's still, again, like, I don't like very happy Christmassy movies, holiday movies. I don't like things always being just like perfect. And so for me, adding the element of a little bit of some fright, I don't know. I think even the ghosts, Marley and Marley, I think even though they were hilarious, it still gives me this kind of terror, this fear, and also the ghosts of future. It just adds this element of fear, but it still is a beautiful homage to the Christmas spirit and to like helping others in need.
Awesome.
I haven't seen it.
Wesley, go ahead and roll for who's next.
I can't tell you how happy I am that you let me. This is a Christmas miracle right here. I'm so excited to be rolling this many die.
I can't tell if it's sarcastic.
That was not sarcastic at all. Matt.
I've got next up in the chamber the Christmas classic, Jimmy Stewart. It's a Wonderful Life. You know, you say George Bailey, you say the savings, the bank and loan. Like, that movie is just iconic. That's the movie that I always watched with my folks. So I think it's one of those movies that whenever it comes on TV, it's really hard to switch off of it. And then, you know, you got Clarence, the clown angel, just an adorable angel. It's just top to bottom. That movie's great. I can't say enough good things about it. I'm curious to see where that ranks in your zeitgeist of Christmas movies, but it's just a strong Christmas choice, I feel.
Okay. Wesley, who's up next?
Ben.
Well, that's very opportunistic because my first movie kind of takes It's a Wonderful Life and skewers it. My movie is Gremlins, which starts off in this idyllic town like It's a Wonderful Life does, but then it introduces this monster into it that just wreaks havoc on the entire city. Now, you may be saying, like, that's not a Christmas movie, but it absolutely is. The entire premise of the movie is this dad buys this little furry animal gift for his child, and it's really about take some caution in what gifts you buy for people, because some people Like, it's a cautionary tale on gift giving is the entire movie. So there's so much Christmas imagery. There's Christmas music constantly playing. It's a great skewer of It's a Wonderful Life. And I watched it last night. I love it so much. And it's so cute. And I could watch Gizmo play. Gizmo is greater than Baby Yoda. And the Gremlins are so funny.
So I've never seen Gremlins, and I have no idea. Like, I only know what you told me. But how is it a skew on It's a Wonderful Life?
Because it takes place in that same idyllic town that It's a Wonderful Life does. So the beginning of the movie really sets you up for this story of like redemption and just like a lighthearted Christmas farce. Like we're just gonna have like a really heartwarming story, and then it completely twists it by having this Mogwai in Gizmo get hit with some water, and then he like shoots out all of these monster children that wreak havoc on the entire city.
Okay. I haven't seen Gremlins either.
What?
But like, I don't know if it's like I mean, like, it's really hard to picture it being kind of like It's a Wonderful Life, because it's like a souring love story where he's like contemplating suicide, and then he gets a dark look into what life would be like without him there.
No, but what I'm saying is the same as It's a Wonderful Life, is that it's the same type of town. Like, I even think the name of the town in the movie is a play on the name of the town in It's a Wonderful Life.
Oh, that's
like, it shows this like small town feel to it at the beginning, where like he walks past like the movie theater, just like Jimmy Stewart does in It's a Wonderful Life. Like, there are lots of beats and people that you meet that you're like, oh, that's someone straight from It's a Wonderful Life.
Okay.
Got it. There's even a Clarence.
Clarence is Gizmo.
I'm gonna have to check this out.
In case you aren't sold yet, the core logic of the movie is you can't feed a gremlin after midnight, or else it spawns these evil creatures. So go ahead and think about when after midnight doesn't exist.
Don't try to poke holes in my movie already.
Poke.
No,
that's not me. That's universal. Everybody hates that logic. All right. Well, I guess that leaves me. My first hat I'm going to throw into the ring here is Home Alone. Who didn't grow up and want to torture burglars?
Yeah.
You were going to say strangers.
I was going to say strangers.
Like, who doesn't want to torture strangers?
I mean, they are the same. If you have somebody burgling your house that isn't a stranger, then that's domestic dispute. I don't know.
Oh, jeez.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Oh, my God.
Home Alone. Come on. Everybody wanted to be Macaulay Culkin. Everybody slapped their hands on their cheeks. Everybody who was a male and older than Emily. As Emily is shaking her head that no, she does not agree with my assertion that everybody did this. I don't know. I feel like I don't really have to say too much about this. We've all seen Home Alone, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I've seen enough of it where I know what's happening, but I have never seen it start to finish.
Wow. It's got that 90s classic flavor of a movie.
It definitely does.
Yeah. The Christmas sweaters alone, I mean, it's unquestionable.
The Pepsi product placement.
It's the white rich people.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I know
it's
which
John
movie you're
Hughes,
talking
so
about.
it's got that like very nostalgic, I guess, from looking back at it now. Like that John Hughes kind of movie is a touchstone for a lot of our generation. But then like the Jingle Bell Rock scene where he sets up all of the cardboard cutouts to confuse the burglars and make them think that there's a house party going on, but it's just a bunch of cardboard cutouts like attached to Christmas train that's going around under the Christmas tree, and it's super loud. And as far as I'm concerned, the first movie where a young kid outsmarted adults, and that's it's very empowering as a as a 90s kid, even though I was born in the 80s, but whatever.
Wesley coming in with a juggernaut. Emily, we're cycled back to you.
Ooh, it's my turn. Okay, so I am going to go with Love Actually. Love Actually is actually the first rated R movie I ever watched.
Nice.
And I know that's just shocking, but Love Actually is very all about Christmas. Literally, Bill Nye sings about Christmas is all around.
I'm still upset that we cut the Bill Nye bit.
So everything about this movie screams Christmas. There's all sorts of families coming together. There's all sorts of stuff about love around Christmas time. And I think for me, the piece that made it completely Christmas to me was that we convinced my mother, who is actually pretty much a prude, to watch this movie on Christmas last year, and she loved it. She definitely left the room during the sex scenes. She was not comfortable with those, but she loved this movie. And for me, that was like, yep, this is a Christmas movie. Judy said so. This is Christmas.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like there are all sorts of really funny moments, but I loved this movie, and I will watch it occasionally on Christmas, and I think it definitely deserves to be on the list.
I love that, Emily. I could really relate to you there, because there's so many times I watched James Bond with my dad and I wish he left the room. So I think your mom did the right thing. And I haven't seen this one, but like it looks good. And like I haven't seen a successful ensemble cast movie like this yet. And
yeah, it's
exciting.
Probably the only good ensemble cast movie like this. They've done so many trying to replicate it with like, there's a Valentine's Day one, and I don't even know. They've tried so many different ones, and this one for some reason works. It's probably because Alan Rickman was in it, and he's just, was phenomenal, and Emma Thompson, and you've got so many famous, wonderful British actors. Hugh Grant, him as a prime minister.
The cast in that is so phenomenal. Colin Firth, Keira Knightley, Andrew Lincoln,
Chiwetel Ejiofor, Martin Freeman.
The only movie that I've seen with Matt's dad was one that he did not leave, and I wish he would have, which was I Heart Huckabees, and he happened to come down to the basement where we were watching it just before the scene where they have sex in a mud puddle. And then we all sat there awkwardly knowing what was about to happen, and Matt's dad just sat there in the rocking chair.
I'm going to let it play.
Matt, go ahead.
So I chose my next movie, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, which is, I feel, iconic because you have this Griswold family, this nuclear weird family with a weird dad. Everybody can kind of relate to. Maybe you don't have like a dad that went overboard for Christmas, but somebody who did. And it's just like going to chop down your own tree and the problems that come with it. It's just it's a great slapstick comedy. You have competing neighbors with like Christmas lights. It's just top to bottom, super funny, really fun to watch. And it's based around Christmas. You're on Christmas Day there. So I feel like it would be just a mistake to leave it off our list.
It's got Christmas in the name.
Is there like a Christmas redemption or like family? I mean, you said there's a family, but is there some sort of like ending that brings it all together to be all Christmassy? I'm just curious.
Well, the main conflict is with him and his wife, and they find the resolution at the end.
Christmas Vacation may be the most Christmas movie that any of us have.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is it the most Christmas? Like, what are you defining as Christmas then?
Well, it definitely is the one that spends the most time talking about Christmas. It's got obviously a lot of imagery. It's all about like extended family getting together. It's got a huge family importance that's placed within the movie. Everything that happens within the movie is something Christmassy that someone's experienced before.
Okay.
I agree that Christmas Vacation is a very for a suburban household of that time frame. I think it really nailed just a lot of those themes and a lot of the situations that happen.
So for my next movie, I've got what has to be the hook of Christmas movies, because the production design is so incredibly good. It is just a beautiful artistic movie. I'm talking about Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas, the Jim Carrey one.
I thought you were going to talk about Hook.
No,
I was trying to rack my brain about how Hook was a Christmas movie, but the whole time I was just ready to chant Rufio.
The production design of Grinch is so phenomenal. Like they really built this entire city and set everything in it. Like it's built on like a studio lot, and it's just so in depth, and there's so much detail to all of the sets and the costumes and the makeup. And Jim Carrey's performance is just so good. I don't know if a lead can steal a movie, but it's not a movie unless Jim Carrey's in the scene, because Jim Carrey is just so phenomenal in that. He's funny. He's got that typical Jim Carrey shtick going on. Nobody else could have played him, in my opinion.
He wears a lot of green in his characters. Just gonna throw that out there. Sorry.
Oh, sure.
You talking about the Riddler?
I just watched Batman Forever
Mask.
for the first time in the mask. I was like, oh, it's green a lot. Sorry, continue.
But this movie, it was a nice twist on the original Grinch cartoon. It was nice to see it brought to like a full length movie, and I thought they did just a great job of really translating it to a more modern time, taking a 30-minute animated short and making it a full movie, and not losing that interest and heartfelt story.
Yeah,
good pick.
Thanks.
It is a good pick. I almost picked that one.
So dropped a bombshell on my first pick. So here we go again. Y'all Minnesotans ready for this? Bwomp, bwomp, bwomp,
Yeah.
bwomp, 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 bwomp. Jingle All the Way! Set in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Actually, I don't know if it's Minneapolis, but set in the heart of Minnesota's Mall of America and all of the good rural area around here. Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sinbad battling it out over a toy for their children. What more can you say? Capitalism, hero worship, adultery, Phil Hartman, Eggnog. I mean, it's got it all. I could talk all day, but I feel like I don't need to say that much more. But like,
you might need to, because I'm not convinced. I don't know anything about this movie, and I'm not convinced.
Live in Minnesota and you haven't seen Jingle All the Way.
Have you written a list of all the movies I haven't seen,
Yes,
Wesley?
I've added multiple already tonight. So Jingle All the Way is a story of a suburban Minnesota man, obviously cast as Arnold Schwarzenegger.
What's that accent you have?
It's Norwegian. Married with a young son. I have no idea how old. Jake Lloyd for your Star Wars fans. Yeah, young Anakin, who loves this superhero Turbo Man. And the hot toy that year is this Turbo Man action hero.
Oh, so Dwight Schrute is like, selling this toy to everyone.
Exactly.
That's the story.
They do touch on something similar to that. Yeah. There's also a scene where there's a whole underground Santa Claus ring of people who are hoarding these gifts, and they actually employ elves in their little, like, I'm going to guess like Hopkins based warehouse. Take that, Hopkins, Minnesota. But yes, it's a story of Sinbad trying to get this. It was basically like around the time of Tickle Me Elmo. So you can compare it to that culturally, where all the parents just had to get this toy, and he runs into a USPS worker played by Sinbad, who also wants to get the toy for his kid, and they sell out everywhere. And the scenes of them like running around all of the skyways in Minneapolis and the Mall of America, like I said, and at one point they go to a toy shop where the toy store is going to give away a Turbo Man to anybody who gets one of the bouncy balls, and they release bouncy balls and they bounce all over the Mall of America. And there's these just grown ass people like wrestling around the Mall of America trying to catch these bouncy balls. It's just a great movie. And then you get a drunk reindeer. That's where I'm going to end it.
All right. So this is Christmas because drunk reindeer and capitalism and adultery. Got it.
Yeah, that's Christmas.
Thank you, Emily. That sounds perfect.
Where's their adultery in that movie again?
Phil Hartman trying to snake his wife.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Back to me, right?
Yeah. So back
Okay.
to Emily.
My last movie that I want to throw out there is Klaus, which I don't know if many of you have seen it. It is on Netflix. It came out last year. And it is a wonderful retelling of the origin of Santa in a way that is not like, this is Santa Claus. It is a beautifully animated movie about this guy who's played by Jason Schwartzman, I think. And he is a postman's son who's just a shit person. And so he gets sent to the middle of nowhere where there's these two clans fighting each other in this tiny little city or tiny little town. And there's this horrible fight between everyone. They like literally fight each other with swords and things. It's insane. But then there's a man named Klaus who lost his wife, and he makes toys, just like whittling them, and he keeps them stored off in the basement. And so the main character, also Santa, meaning Klaus, is played by J.K. Simmons. And who doesn't love J.K. Simmons as any person ever?
Right.
Correct.
But it is so beautiful how they tell this story about this origin, starting off with, Jason Schwartzman's character is just like, hey, I am supposed to try to post this many thousands of letters by the end of this deadline. And no one's allowing him to do that because the town is at war and they've like chased all the postmaster people out, which is just so silly. And the animation in the background is just gorgeous in this snow-covered town. The people in it are beautifully done, beautifully animated. And I think it was even nominated for an Oscar, but lost to Toy Story 4, which makes me laugh. But I had never seen it until my older sister said, we need to watch this as a family. And we all were just completely immersed with how gorgeous and how almost spiritual it made Christmas feel for someone who does not celebrate Christmas traditionally.
The animation style in that movie is truly beautiful. They do something where they don't create hard lines or hard edges on the characters, so everything kind of looks like it's really...
It's like a storybook almost.
It is like a storybook. Like it's very unique in the way it's animated, and even if you don't like Christmas movies, you should watch this movie just for the animation because it is that beautiful to look at.
I feel like you're talking just to me right now.
So that's my third movie that I'm throwing out there as Klaus. It is a wonderful movie. It is all about the Christmas spirit and just like joining this town, redemption and learning to not be selfish. It is fantastic. Everyone should watch it.
This movie's going on deck. This looks great.
This does look really good.
Matt, your last one?
All right. So my last one, I started thinking about what's a movie that got me going as a kid. And it has to be the Santa Claus. Claus is in the extra E. Tim Allen becomes, Tim Allen gets fat. He turns into Santa. I don't know, man. That movie I
had a thing for Bernard.
Is that David Krumholtz?
Look, I know that movie's dog shit or whatever, but it's just a lot of fun, and I just love it. So when I say dog shit, I'm saying that endearingly. Like it's fun, it's campy. So I chose the Santa Claus, which if you haven't seen it, basically Santa falls off his house and dies, and then there's like a clause that says that he must become the new Santa Claus and convince his family he's Santa.
Very nice.
More power.
So for my last movie, I've got a story of a man who hates Christmas, and then he meets a young boy, and through him finds both a family and a rejuvenated Christmas spirit. I'm talking about a Boy. Now, you may say About a Boy is not a Christmas movie. This is a movie with Hugh Grant and Nicholas Hoult, and it's a British movie like Love Actually, and it came out around the same time. But this is really about, it all takes place around Christmas because Hugh Grant, his dad, wrote a Christmas song that plays every year. So this guy doesn't ever have to work. He is constantly just selfish, all about himself. How am I going to spend my time? Until this young boy kind of shows up on his step one day and he befriends him. And this movie takes place over 2 consecutive Christmases. And we see this guy's heart grow 3 sizes, essentially. This is the Grinch story, only not a cartoony animated one. Like, this is just taken into the real world and refit to be presented to the masses. And I absolutely love this movie. It's super funny. This is a Christmas movie Wesley has seen. Wesley.
I have not.
I am so fucking mad right now.
You're so fucked is what
I'm
you mean.
so fucking mad.
I'm super realizing that like Christmas movies have never been on my radar for something to watch. So like I know a ton about these movies. Like none of these are surprises or things I haven't heard of before. But like I'm gonna be honest, I have zero desire to watch most of these right now. Like
except for Klaus.
Yes, exactly. Like, but that's not because it's a Christmas movie. It's because it looks cool.
Yeah.
Wesley is his own Grinch.
Wesley, what's your last movie?
Well, speaking of me being my own Grinch, not really. It doesn't tie in that well. My last movie, which again, I am realizing this is a very like introspective episode for me, understanding my relation to Christmas. But my last movie is the 1988 Bill Murray classic, Scrooged. Nothing says Christmas to me like somebody who hates everybody and has to have ghosts interrupt him in the night, threaten his life, beat him senseless, and throw Christmas so hard in his face that he has no choice but to respect it at least a little bit. Bill Murray is about as far as I feel like I need to go, especially 1988 Bill Murray. And we had already talked about Scrooge earlier in the Muppet Christmas Carol. So like it's a very, there's a ton of movies about that story. But I think that having Bill Murray in such is slapstick a good word for it? Like
I've never seen it. I don't know.
It's raunchy. It's an adult take on a Christmas, which is generally geared towards more of a family story, and Scrooge definitely skews it. Carol Kane, who plays the ghost of Christmas Present, those scenes to me with her and Bill Murray are what make this movie. That duo is absolutely hilarious. If anybody hasn't seen it, I haven't seen it in a while, so I don't know. It might not hold up super, super well, and there might be some problematic things in it, but I have a soft spot in my heart for it. And the last thing I'll say about it is Bobcat Goldthwait.
Okay, so we have our 12 movies to choose from. We have Muppet Christmas Carol, It's a Wonderful Life, Gremlins, Home Alone, Love Actually, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas, Jingle All the Way, Klaus, Santa Claus, About a Boy, and Scrooged. Wesley, roll that die.
Ben.
So for this round, we each get a veto. So of those 12 movies that were just thrown out, we each get to throw one.
Wow.
And it's gone forever.
Yep.
Ben gets to go first.
It's not very Christmassy.
You don't play the dice game at your Christmas where you steal gifts from each other?
All right. No, I guess that is kind of like Christmas. You're
This
right.
is Christmas, yeah.
Yeah. Yankee swap.
I am going to veto Love Actually. I used to love this movie.
Actually?
But when you go back and watch it now, there's a lot of issues with it. There's a lot of fat shaming going on when you look at the Hugh Grant's love interest character. It's a lot of really half stories being told that they try to all cram together to make it one story. It's not very coherent. It is fun. Bill Nighy kills it. And I love the Alan Rickman, Emma Thompson story within that. But I have to eliminate it just for the Keira Knightley, Chiwetel Ejiofor, Andrew Lincoln thing, because it's just so underhanded what Andrew Lincoln does. It's not within the Christmas spirit. Like, he's just a dirtball, and this movie should be tossed out, and it is. It's
but
gone.
sometimes you need that to survive the zombie apocalypse.
Yep.
I was even considering vetoing it myself compared to some of the other ones. I was like,
wow.
Yeah. Well, no, I love it. I really do love it. But I was like, ooh, which one should I veto? If all the other ones get vetoed, I'd probably veto myself before, Santa Claus.
There's a lot of really good movies up there.
Yep, this is going to be tough.
Wesley, roll that die.
Matt.
Okay, so if I'm forced to choose, I guess I'll go with Gremlins, just barely. Yeah, it's like I haven't seen it, and I'm looking at the plot summary, and it is very Christmassy, but I just look at the cover, and I don't think Christmas versus, like, I almost chose Scrooge just because it was much, much older. Yeah, so I'm just going to go Gremlins, and it's just, I don't know.
Man.
Sorry.
Okay, well, nothing I can do. You're a bitch, but nothing I can do.
To be honest, that was going to be mine, so now my choice is even harder. Next up, me. I'm going to go with It's a Wonderful Life. I feel like it is more of a moral story than a Christmas one.
Well, what do you mean you're getting rid of It's a Wonderful Life? Well, this movie's been around for 70 years, Wesley.
No, it's a classic. But it doesn't resonate with me as a Christmas movie.
All right.
Okay. It's my turn then, I guess. Just to round us out a little bit so that we each get one of them taken away. But also because I am between two of Wesley's anyway, I'm going to get rid of Jingle All the Way because yes, I'm from Minnesota. Yes, I haven't seen it before, but I did really listen to you, and you were like drunk reindeer, capitalism, and adultery. To me, those three reasons are not enough to make it one of the best Christmas movies of all time. So
holy shit.
There's my reasoning.
Oh my God. Good shit.
Should have
on
done
Wesley.
a better job explaining it for me because I didn't feel it was very Christmassy.
We'll talk later, Emily.
Ben, what are we doing next?
Yeah, so we've got 8 movies left. Now, Wesley, go ahead and roll that die.
Me.
Okay, Wesley, so you're going to nominate one of those 8 movies to make the list. And the way this works is it has to pass with a 2-1 vote, and the person who threw the movie into the ring does not get a vote.
Can we also say that it can't be your own?
You can't nominate your own,
okay.
Correct.
This one's easy. It's a slam dunk. It's a slam dunk, Wesley.
I really want to nominate Klaus, but I haven't seen it, so I feel like that's not okay. I'm going to nominate The Santa Claus.
You got a reason why? Because you got to convince Emily and I to put Santa Claus on the list now.
I'm already convinced.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a movie about Santa Claus like this. And also David Krumholtz. Emily said it herself. David Krumholtz is amazing.
This is one of the few movies that I actually enjoy when it comes to Christmas time. And I actually enjoy it. So you have my vote.
I want to be on the record as a dissenting vote. That was the second closest one for me to I was going to veto.
Oh, interesting.
Nice try, Ben.
Yeah. But it's on the list.
Wait, I thought you have to vote. Oh, it's 2-1.
You did. You and Wesley.
Got it. Yep. It's on the list.
Wait.
Yep. Because it was me and Wesley. Got it.
And
I understand
Matt
the rules
put it on there. So it's 3-1.
So basically, if you nominate something, you just have to get one other person that didn't do it to agree.
Yes.
So Ben, hang on. Why though? Why do you think, like, are there other ones that are better that you're like, no, it should be this instead?
Yes, I think the last act of Santa Claus is really boring.
Well, then stop the movie.
I don't really remember it.
Just turn it off.
You're supposed to vacuum during this movie, Ben. Come on.
Well, see, and then that's if I don't want to put a movie on the list, it's just background noise.
It's not background noise. This is like a pot pie for your soul.
That's what Christmas is, though.
Here's my thought. I would take Santa Claus over Home Alone any day. Home Alone to me is a background movie.
Wow.
See, we're all learning about each other. And, I think people are learning about themselves.
They forget about him again. Like, what did the family learn?
Don't blame the sequels. Don't blame the sequels.
They didn't forget about him in the second one. He got on the wrong plane.
Whatever. The family doesn't fucking care about him
A total
anyway.
thing that happened pre 9/11 is getting on a wrong plane.
And also, to borrow something else from Cinephiles Attack, we're still friends, right?
No.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's fading.
Leslie, who's next?
Emily.
Well, my nomination is The Grinch. And it's partially because I think Ben's right. It is a really great rendition. This is something that we used to watch, like the cartoon, when we were watching our VHS tape of A Christmas Story together, eating Chinese food. This was the 30 minutes after. And so as we would digest. So I have a very strong affinity to The Grinch. But also, you're right. The production alone, the makeup, everything about it tells this great Christmas story of learning about family, and everything about Christmas has something to do with like growth, redemption, and family. I think that's what makes a great Christmas movie. Matt or Wesley, are you voting with me?
Yeah, I mean, Santa Claus is going in. The Grinch is still Christmas. That definitely has to go in.
That's all I need. But Wesley, do you agree?
I'm on the fence, but it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter anyway.
Yep.
Okay. Roll that die, Wes.
Ben.
I'm nominating Christmas Vacation for the reasons that we talked about, because, you know, this movie takes a lot of different things that happen during Christmas and kind of crams them all into one movie. It all takes place on Christmas. There's extended family. There's the guy, Chevy Chase, learning to not be selfish anymore. It's got all of those Christmas themes and tropes that you expect to see, but it also skewers them in the way only National Lampoon can. So this one, I feel, has to be on the list.
No, I completely disagree. It cannot be on this list because if Klaus or Muppet Christmas Carol do not make this list, I will legit fucking kill all of you.
Oh my.
And also, like, I'm sorry, I haven't seen it before, but even just reading through the plot summary, it just seems so basic and boring. Like, they're just competing and being dramatic. It's like, it's so dumb to me.
Let me counter that point with the fact that this is an originator. No,
I liked what you said first.
An originator. It came before so many cliches. It created the cliches.
Oh, but that just fucking sucks.
No, it doesn't. That's how cliches work. Something did it first, and it was so good that other things did the same thing. And I don't think your feelings are wrong, because I agree that so much of this is silly now, but at the time, like, it was smart.
Okay. But I will say, second point, I don't want two of Matt's movies to be chosen through nominations.
That's where I'm at right now.
Should I get my feelings hurt right now? Like, what's going on?
I'm trying to figure out, do I like Matt enough to make this happen?
But looking at the other movies, Wesley, you've got Scrooged, and you definitely want that to be on there, I'm assuming, since you brought it up. And Home Alone, you want that to be on there.
What happens if it doesn't get nominated?
I would get another nomination at the end. Like, we'd cycle back to me.
Oh, understandable.
I feel like the only reason I'm leaning towards agreeing is because I did just watch A Futile and Stupid Gesture, which is about National Lampoon's basically creation. But I am a very logical person, and I am not going to let that sway me. So I am going to veto.
That makes it. Wait.
Suck.
You guys are fucking up. You guys are letting your feelings about me get in the way of Christmas.
No, this had nothing to do with you.
Matt, go ahead and nominate another one.
It's my turn. I'm going to nominate, which I thought would have been a slam dunk from any of you guys, Muppet Christmas Carol. It's just so fucking good. Michael Caine. Let's go. Give me another vote. Let's get it in there.
They're not going to give it to you. One, because Wesley's never seen it, and Ben does not like this movie.
I watched this movie last night. That's not fair. I love the music in this movie. And I hate the Christmas Carol part of this movie because I don't enjoy the Christmas Carol. And they played it a little too straight. Like, there wasn't enough Muppets. There wasn't enough music.
What do you mean there wasn't enough Muppets?
There's no better version of the Christmas Carol, though, unless you're seeing it live. Like
Scrooged.
I'm rolling my eyes. Scrooge should have been vetoed.
What I mean by there weren't enough Muppets is that it skewed too closely to Christmas Carol and not enough into Muppet humor. Like, I wish they would have done more funny things with the plot. Also, I don't like the puppets that they chose for Christmas Past and Christmas Present. I didn't think that they were interesting to look at. They weren't entertaining to me. The Christmas Past one just looked creepy, like something left over from Dark Crystal that they just threw a white sheet over.
Have you even seen Dark Crystal? Because there are no humanoids in that besides.
Right, she looked almost Gelfling.
No, she didn't.
This is the most offended I've been the entire show. Wesley,
I'm not voting for Muppet Christmas Carol.
Can you save this movie, Wesley?
I'm going to challenge both you and Emily to convince me because Ben made some very logical choices. So as someone who hasn't seen this movie, I will base this off of argument.
All right, start by throwing away a lot of Ben's arguments about like these Muppets weren't interesting to look at.
Yes, and I would agree with that.
It's the Christmas Carol.
It's a personal opinion of Ben's that he didn't find the Muppets interesting enough to look at. He thinks that there weren't enough funny Muppet humor pieces in this movie. I completely disagree. I have the complete opposite. This is the only reason I find the Christmas Carol interesting. And then I went and saw it at the Guthrie, and then I was like, whoa, this is actually really cool. And it's because of the way that they tell it with interesting and funny aspects. The music is just incredible. I love to be able to just sit and watch Kermit and Piggy go at it. And then there's also this whole seriousness between Tiny Tim dying, but it's also funny. And I don't know. I just, again, it's personal preference. And I think.
Yeah. And so I'll throw my personal, just to get it out there. I'm not a huge Muppets fan. So the fact that Ben doesn't like this movie seemingly because it's not enough of a Muppets movie.
But maybe you would like it.
I honestly feel like Michael Caine and his theater background lends itself to this play, that Emily said she saw at the Guthrie. I also got the chance to see that every single year. It was like a family tradition. It's the only one we had. So Ebenezer Scrooge, Michael Caine, his version of it, I feel like with the Muppets coming in, it's easy to get sucked into it. But it's also lighthearted. So
yeah, it's a really great introduction to like more, I guess, classical literature for young kids, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here are my 2 points. One, I'm worried that if this gets voted in, Scrooge is out. So that's my own personal feeling right now. I also know that Scrooge is probably getting voted out either way, so that's not huge.
Yo, Scrooge is the long shot.
Now, you should be schmoozing me right now, so watch your mouth.
You don't want Home Alone in before Scrooged?
Secondly,
okay.
Here's how I'm going to base it, because I think you all made very good points, and to be completely honest, I'm still on the fence. So what I'm going to do, since this was Emily's nomination, Emily's out, but I'm going to base my opinion on whoever gives me the best Michael Caine impression saying you should nominate Muppets Christmas Carol. Ben hasn't talked in a while, so we're going to go to Ben.
You should not nominate Muppets Christmas Carol.
Not bad.
Did we pay Michael Caine to come in and say that?
All right, Matt.
Michael Caine wants you. You gotta say his name in the impression. Michael Caine wants you to nominate It's a Christmas Carol.
All of your British voices are the same.
I was like a little bit of a Master Wayne at the end.
Okay, I'll give you that.
Damn, this is hard.
That gave you fucking nothing, Wesley.
No, but it was fun. You can't argue with that.
Dance, monkeys dance.
Yeah, I have the power. I think Matt's was better. So I am
the worst.
I also think that it should be in there. So Muppets Christmas Carol gets in there.
Stop. I'll accept if you pick Muppets Christmas Carol, but not because Matt's impression was better, because there's zero chance that Matt's impression was better.
Listen back.
You should have said his name in your impression, dog.
I should have. That would have set me off right away.
Yeah. No, I did say that too. Like, it wasn't totally because of the impression, but.
So now do we go back to Ben and Ben gets to nominate again?
Yep.
Okay, Ben, what are you nominating?
Home Alone. I mean, it's got to be Home Alone. That's got to make the list. I know Matt loves this movie. I think this is a slam dunk on the list. So.
My vote doesn't matter either way. I do not like this movie. I've only seen enough of it in pieces, and I just don't think it's very Christmassy.
I'm just worried that if I vote for Home Alone, that'll mean that my movie doesn't get in. No, it's in. Home Alone, it's in.
Okay, so now we're going to throw a wrench into this bitch. Wesley, go ahead and roll the dice.
Matt.
So we have 4 spots left on our Christmas list. And now it's time to add some movies that are a little less traditionally Christmas, but that we still feel are about or are Christmas movies. So, Matt, what is your outside the box movie?
You guys, I chose Die Hard, huh? Everybody knows Die Hard is a Christmas movie when they go up the Nakatomi Plaza on Christmas.
I shot a kid.
A lot of people would just say this is just an action movie that happens on Christmas. And to those people, I say the word Christmas appears in the script 18 times, which is more than the word explode, die, hard, shoot, kill, and blood. But unfortunately, far fewer times than the word gun, terrorist, and suddenly. So Die Hard is my outside the box movie.
I mean, somebody had to do it, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Emily.
I chose Edward Scissorhands. It is a little more than just outside the box, in my opinion, but it is a story about family. It is a story of Christmas because of the Christmas party at the end and misunderstandings. There's all sorts of adventures that happen. And of course, you know, I do love a little bit more of a darker story when it comes to Christmas time, and giving this different idea about how snow is happening in this little small town. I think that brings a nice little moral to the story, a nice little fantastical element around Christmas. So I'm bringing Edward Scissorhands. And I wrote Edward Scissorhands instead of hands by accident.
Oh, that's the other one.
Who's going next?
Next is me. My outside the box movie, and this is a perfect segue for our third Tim Burton movie, Batman Returns. The second Batman movie done by Tim Burton, where a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Danny DeVito emerges from the sewers as a deformed, unwanted orphan whose parents, as he was given birth to, the doctors and nurses screamed and left the room. His parents kept him in a cage on wheels where they put a rubber ducky on a string as if you were leading a horse by a carriage, and the baby ate cats. So then, naturally, the parents threw the penguin into the sewer, where naturally, in Gotham, the penguin population raised him. And he turns out to be a supervillain who basically only wants to know his family. So it's a very heartfelt getting to know your family and just wanting that regular Christmas experience. And it also has one of the best Christopher Walken hairdos of all time. So it's hard to argue, but Batman Returns is my pick. And it is, I highly recommend everybody goes back and looks at it.
Nice.
I mean, Tim Burton just has an incredible Christmas vibe.
Between Tim Burton and Chris Columbus, like those two, they're loved their Christmas movies.
Right. I would like to point out, though, even though Nightmare Before Christmas is known as like produced by Tim Burton, he did not direct it. And so I just wanted to like establish that, yes, he was involved, but he was not like the director. because there is a lot of confusion in the world that everyone's like, oh yeah, Tim Burton's Nightmare Before Christmas. So yes, it's kind of the third movie we talked about with Tim Burton.
Okay, my outside the box movie is In Bruges.
Oh my God.
Because Christmas is not just like this festive, happy time of year. For some people, you know, it's a very heavy holiday with a lot of emotions, and you start dealing with things and thinking about things as you have this downtime from work that are really heavy. And that's what this movie does, is it's set against the backdrop of Christmas in Bruges, hence the title. And he's really dealing with these feelings of guilt, and the entire story is a redemption story for our main character in Colin Farrell. And all of these Catholic and Christian themes present themselves in this movie, and it just comes at Christmas from a different angle than what we're used to seeing. A lot of the movies we've talked about have been these happy, fun, festive times, and this one is much more about just that emotional feeling that you get at Christmas time sometimes. Maybe
Other than Die Hard, maybe the only Christmas movie we've introduced with guns.
A Christmas Story is all about getting a gun.
Yeah,
Yes.
there it is.
Oh, okay. But not like a
And
real
Bad
gun.
Santa has no guns either.
No, you're right. Yeah, there's some guns in there.
Whatever, Wesley. Fuck you, man.
I thought it was a funny point.
So we've got these 4 movies. Convince us. You got to convince at least 2 people on the show to put your movie on. Let's start with Matt's movie. So Matt had Die Hard.
If we're going to go outside the box, I think that we have to go with what's in everybody's mind. Is Die Hard a Christmas movie? People joke about it, and they started watching it. So I feel like that's one of those things where it's like we kind of created this thing, and then it turned into a whole nother thing. So there's people out there watching Die Hard now for Christmas. And, I really feel strongly about it over your guys' picks. So sorry to say that. I think Batman's interesting. I really think Batman's interesting, but I really like Die Hard.
I agree with the Batman. I also think that Die Hard, for me, is more Christmassy than In Bruges, based off of our normal list of what's like Christmassy. And so, like, for me, the National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, it's like, that's so Christmas in your face. So many things are happening Christmassy. And for me, In Bruges, it just doesn't quite get there. And I don't see it as a Christmas movie. And so I would be fine with Die Hard. I'm not saying I'm voting for it right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay if Edward Scissorhands doesn't make it. Like, I'm not upset about it. I think I would probably prefer Batman Returns to Edward Scissorhands going in based off what Wesley said. I haven't even actually seen Batman Returns, but based off what Wesley said, I would probably pick Batman Returns over Edward Scissorhands.
I want to also put this on the record. I think In Bruges is probably the best movie up there. It just doesn't have that Christmas vibe for me.
I agree. Except for Klaus. Klaus, I think, might be better for different reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Man, this is really disheartening to hear no support for In Bruges, because
you were so excited.
In my opinion, it's probably the best movie that we brought up.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
So to have it not added on a minuscule technicality of it's not Christmassy enough.
Minuscule technicality of the entire point of the episode.
This isn't the top 12 Christmas movies. It's the top 12 Christmas movies.
Okay.
Get your
this is
fucking
definitely a
quotes
Christmas
out
Mr.
of here.
Technicality here. Mr. Technicality.
There's no droids here.
No, Ben, you said however we define Christmas movies. And
But are you arguing that this is not a Christmas movie?
No, I'm saying that Die Hard is more of a Christmas movie to me than In Bruges. So I would not vote for In Bruges over Die Hard. So if it comes down to it, like, I'm voting Die Hard. If we want all of them to go through, great.
But
So I'm going to throw Ben's logic in his own face right here. Are we voting for the best Christmas movie or the best Christmas movie?
Fuck
That's
you
my
with your
question.
quotes.
yeah, because if we all agree that In Bruges is a Christmas movie,
No,
which no, Wesley doesn't agree.
I don't.
I think it takes place over the time period in the holidays, and it lets you look at pretty snow and pretty scenery, but I just don't get those Christmas vibes. There's not enough scenes.
What Christmas vibes do you get from Die Hard?
I also was going to say, I don't think Die Hard is a Christmas movie. So
There's Christmas vibes around it.
I agree. I am literally saying that Die Hard to me is more Christmassy than In Bruges, if we're basing off the Christmas part.
I'm going to fight hard on this.
go ahead.
I'm not saying I'm voting for Die Hard. I'm saying that
Here's
In
what I'm
Bruges
saying.
is out for me.
I'm saying if In Bruges is out, we need to take Die Hard out as well.
I'm fine with that.
Because I
agree.
can't have Die Hard on if In Bruges isn't on.
I don't think anybody's going to argue other than Matt.
All right.
Now this is getting ridiculous though, because Die Hard is just a casualty to In Bruges. Because Die Hard is a better.
Because it's the same argument
It's the
against
same
In
argument.
Bruges.
Yes, it's exactly the same argument.
All right, but we can all agree that the Christmas vibes are stronger with Die Hard.
No, we can't.
Like it can get off
I'm
the
the
list.
only one that's on your side for that, Matt. But I'm fine with taking Die Hard and In Bruges off for similar reasons.
I just need In Bruges off. Great movie, though.
No
Everybody
argument
should see
that
it.
In Bruges is a great movie. Since we had just seen it and it was the first time for me, I don't recall anything about that really being Christmas, but
That's true.
that's really not the point. So since I really haven't spoken yet in this section of the show where we're supposed to be campaigning for our own choices and not slandering the other ones, Batman Returns, I'm assuming most of you haven't seen this at least recently, but this movie starts off at Christmas, and as the Penguin grows up in the sewers, when he makes his first surfacing issues with Gotham, the crew that explodes to attack the governor and Christopher Walken, they are all dressed up as Christmas clowns, and they explode out of Christmas presents that are rolled onto the street during festivals and all that jazz. It's just a great Christmas movie.
I'm totally fine with adding it to the list. Like I am convinced. I haven't even seen this movie. I am completely convinced that this is an out of the box Christmas movie. And I'm sorry, Wesley, I would probably choose Batman Returns over Scrooged.
That's fine.
So that's why I'm thinking like it could be in there. And obviously I would get rid of National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation no matter what for either of these. So that's why I'm kind of like, yep, I'm okay with this.
Wow.
And I haven't seen About a Boy, but this is how I'm reasoning it in my head. But the way Ben talked about it with Chris, like kind of Christmassy and all, that's why I'm okay with both of these pushing out a couple others. But again, I'm totally fine with Edward Scissorhands not being Christmassy enough for all of you. Like, I'm not going to be heartbroken. I will be fucking heartbroken if Klaus doesn't make it in there. I will punch your guys' faces.
Oh, wow.
Well, and so to kind of back down from my point of this segment of the show was meant to be just defending our own choices, I will say that Edward Scissorhands did not come up on my radar for choices, but after you said that, like, I am super bought into Edward Scissorhands as a Christmas movie.
Yeah, put Batman Returns in. We gotta show people we're deep, and you know, like looking at stills, it took place during Christmas. There's a Christmas vibe, you know, a strong Christmas vibe. Hashtag Christmas vibe. So I think it deserves to be on the list.
All right,
Ben, you're shaking your head. Are you upset?
I don't see any of the themes within Batman Returns being the typical Christmas movie themes.
But In Bruges does. Sorry,
Yes, it does. I'm this close to just saying no Klaus. Like that's you're making me mad, Emily.
You love that movie.
I'm on
I
board
do,
with that.
and that's how mad I am.
I haven't seen it yet,
That's
but
so petty.
Nothing says Christmas more than being petty.
National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation is my Klaus.
I will accept Batman Returns on there. I do think Edward Scissorhands should be on there as well.
I'm on the fence with both of them. I
not
think
gonna go
both
that
of those
far.
are great options.
Okay, so where we're at is that we've got 6 movies left on our list. We've got Christmas Vacation, Klaus, About a Boy, Scrooge, Edward Scissorhands, and Batman Returns. 4 need to make it. Let's figure out which ones we're eliminating.
I would like to get rid of Scrooged.
Yep, I'm on board with that.
I hate Christmas Carol, and I would have put Scrooged on over Muppets Christmas Carol, but if Muppets Christmas Carol's on there, I can't have 2 Scrooge movies on there. So Scrooge is out.
Let it never be said that IDYP is not diplomatic.
Can we just say like Klaus is in?
I think with Matt and Wesley not having seen it, but being interested in seeing it, like that's enough to say it's in.
I support Klaus if you support Christmas Vacation.
Absolutely not. I will not support Christmas Vacation. Like, I'm sorry. There's no way that you can convince me, but I'm sure you have Ben and Wesley on your side.
It's a movie you haven't seen. How can you be so anti a movie you haven't seen?
I've seen snippets of it. As soon as I saw the poster for it, I was like, oh, that's that movie. But I haven't seen it all the way through. It's the same thing with Home Alone.
Also, there's lots of movies on here that I haven't seen that I've been making arguments for. So,
right.
like, you can't throw that against
I'm totally
Emily.
fine with that. Batman Returns, I'm totally fine with that.
I'm just playing politics.
And I haven't seen either of those.
So, Christmas Vacation, I feel very strongly about, and I understand you feel strongly about Klaus. So let's just leave it as a tie between us right there.
As far as I'm looking at this list, I think we all kind of are leaning more towards accepting Edward Scissorhands and Batman Returns. So are we in agreement that it's between Christmas Vacation and About a Boy? No, and that's fine. Like, I'm honestly asking.
Ben is not happy about that one.
That's fine.
I think Christmas Vacation, this list would be just a joke if Christmas Vacation's not on it, in my opinion.
That's good, because we're a comedy
isn't
podcast.
Christmas Vacation a joke?
I
don't know. I thought it was like, you're talking about it made all the cliches. Isn't it just a joke?
It's a comedy. I guess I don't know what you mean.
They were cliches before they were cliches, though. Like, they were comedy, and because they were so good, they became a cliche.
As soon as Christmas Vacation gets in, I'm voting Klaus.
Like I said, I'm not voting for it. You two have it over me. You both are on board, and Matt's obviously on board.
Wesley, we need you to say Christmas Vacation's in.
Or you got to say it's out.
You got to say it's out.
It's up to you.
You're the deciding vote.
And that would be the last one out, right?
If you say Christmas Vacation is out, then we have 3 and we're done.
Yep.
If you say something else, like, we can keep discussing. But right now we're on the are you in for National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation?
I vote Christmas Vacation over About a Boy.
That's not what we're asking.
Well, yes, I guess that's all that matters.
Yeah.
That's a vote for yes, because there's 3 slots.
Right. So we're voting the one that you would want to be out. And I would vote About a Boy out.
I will vote Batman Returns. I will just say, like, I think Batman Returns deserves to be on this list.
Mm-hmm.
So now we have to decide between About a Boy, Edward Scissorhands, and Batman Returns.
And we get 2 that go down to our list.
Yep.
I guess I would choose About a Boy over Edward Scissorhands and put in Batman Returns.
Ben, what are you thinking?
I would go About a Boy and Edward Scissorhands.
Ooh.
Interesting.
Emily, are you Edward Scissorhands and Batman Returns?
This is interesting.
See, I really... Like, I've never seen Batman Returns and I've never seen About a Boy, and I like both of them. And so I'm like the weird one where I'm not going to choose Edward Scissorhands, even though I brought it up, because I think About a Boy and Batman Returns are both better options. So where does that fucking leave us?
So it sounds like
we're all kind of split.
3 for About a Boy, 3 for Batman Returns, 2 for Edward Scissorhands.
Yeah, I think so.
So Edward Scissorhands is out, Batman Returns, and About a Boy are in.
Okay, so our final list, top 12, in no particular order. Elf, A Christmas Story, Nightmare Before Christmas, Bad Santa, Santa Claus, Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas, Muppet Christmas Carol, Home Alone, Klaus, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, Batman Returns, and About a Boy.
I want to point out that only 2 of those in the title don't directly relate to Christmas.
And are they the 2 outside the box ones?
About a Boy and Batman Returns.
I mean, Home Alone is not...
Home Alone. 3, sorry.
And technically, Klaus is not Claus, like Santa Claus.
Yeah, but we all get it. We all get it, Emily.
Do you get it? Do you?
That's our list. Thank you for joining us this evening.
That was ridiculous.
We did it.
That was a lot harder than it should have been.
But wasn't that the point?
Thank you for joining us. Please rate, subscribe, tell a friend, hit us up on social media, IDYP_podcast on Twitter, or we also are on Instagram, Facebook, idrinkyourpodcast@gmail.com. Thank you for listening. Please tune into our regular episodes, which will start again next week with The Mist, and we'll be having on Dylan to discuss that Stephen King horror movie.
Oh God, it's Stephen King.
It is a Stephen King movie.
Oh, I'm gonna die.
Thanks again for joining us.
Bye everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Happy holidays.